We go. Hi, have you ever wondered why things don't work as quickly or as efficiently as you wanted to, or as effectively as you wanted to? If you've ever wondered how to become a better leader, I want to introduce something to you. It's called the training cycle. Now, my name's Don Jessop. I am here with my wife, Rachel Jessop, and we're going to spend some time talking about horses and leadership, and we're going to have a great time. I want you to engage with me, follow me here, and work through some of the things we're going to do today. I want to introduce the training cycle. Step 1 in the training cycle is to send a signal. What I mean by training cycle is you're actually engaging with another human or another animal on the planet, and you are trying to communicate with them, trying to get them to do something. So you have to send a signal. You have to say, please do this for me. Now, if they don't respond to the signal in the training cycle, here, let me just flip this around so that my writing's not backwards. There we go. Okay, that should be straight now. Yes. If they're not responding to the signal, you have to then add something. We call that support. So you add support. These need to be different, by the way. Your signal and the support need to be slightly different for you to be more effective. If your support mechanism is exactly like your signal, then it's not very clear communication. So you send a signal. They don't respond. You got to add something. You got to ask a little harder. You got to ask with something else to sort of engage them so that they go, oh, you're actually talking to me right now. Okay, so then once we move past the signal and support systems, we got to stay there actually until we get some kind of response. And once we have a response, any response, by the way, it does not matter if it's the right response. What matters is that you get a response. And once you have that, you want to release. It's the third step in the training cycle. You want to release the pressure. You want to stop asking. You don't want to keep asking for what you want if they're starting to respond. You will in a second. You'll ask again. I'll show you the whole process. The third part, or the fourth part of the training cycle is to reward the response. And what that means is you don't just take the pressure off. It's effective to take pressure off, but a lot of people, animals, followers don't respond that well to just a release. You have to add something special. So you've got to reward them somehow. Give them something that they love. The fifth and last part about this cycle is to repeat. Can you read that? Repeat. We're going to cycle through this whole thing again. We're going to start with the signal. We're going to add the support. We're going to release. We're going to reward. And we're going to repeat. Until when? Until the follower, the person, the animal you're leading, until that happens, until they understand. And how do you know they understand something? How do you know somebody understands your communication? How do you know a third party understands your communication? Answer: when you do not need your support, when they respond to the signal only. So this is the training cycle. You want to stick with the training cycle all the way through until you no longer need your support. You keep going through signal, support, release, reward. You like it, feels good, do it again, and do it again, and do it again. You cycle through this until the horse doesn't need the support any longer, and you get the results you want. I teach this in my classes, in my lectures, in my seminars, in my clinics that I do. And if you're just following me now, my name is Don Jessop. I'm the Breakthrough Guy. I'm with my wife, Rachel. I want to invite you to ask questions while we're here. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about you, your challenges, your horse. I mean, most people know us as horse trainers, so let's talk about horse stuff. Talk about leadership. Thank you for joining us, those of you who have joined us now. So we're not going to be long here tonight, but I want you to feel free to engage. And if you've got a question or something, put it up in the comments, and hopefully we will be able to get to that, answer your question personally. We do have a couple of questions that came in.
We do.
From the last couple of weeks of us doing these Facebook Live events, people are asking questions about leadership. Some of them are personal, some of them are related directly to their horse. What I want to, hey guys, what I want to do is, Rachel's got her smartphone out here. She's got a couple of those questions up. We're just going to take a second to answer those. Go for it, Rachel.
All right, but I just want to say first, if you have questions, we will answer them. We'll be back here again next Tuesday. So, Tom's moving me around. And so we want to answer your questions. So send any questions you have to either Don or myself on our Facebook page, and we will try and answer them next Tuesday if we don't get them right now. So, one of the questions I have, and I'm going to ask Don, a student from Vermont is asking why she is having trouble catching her horse. She never had trouble before she started working with him.
Well, it's a good question, and I don't know the exact circumstance of her question, but I can tell you, thank you, by the way, for asking this question. If you've ever had this kind of thing where if you're a horse person like my wife and I are, we deal with all kinds of emotional problems that our horses have. So what's your question exactly? She's having trouble catching her horse.
And she didn't used to.
And she didn't have trouble before. So the question's actually fairly simple to answer. It's something I call the training to bonding ratio. We talked before in the early stages. Can you give me that red one there, please? Yeah. In the first Go Live we did, we talked about the 4 B's. But we're just going to talk about bonding first. And that's developing a real fun relationship with your follower. But what trainers do, what horse owners do, is they do a lot of training. And if this training to bonding ratio is not equal, if it's not 50-50, you're not going to be very successful at getting everything done that you want to get done. In other words, if you're having trouble catching your horse now when you didn't before, it means you've done too much training and not enough bonding. So we just got to rebalance that. We got to spend more time bonding, and that means giving the horse what he wants. It doesn't mean you can't train. It just means that during your training, you make sure that it's an emotionally pleasant thing for your horse to experience. So thank you very much. That's a great question. What else we got?
It is. I have another question here. We'll answer 2. How's that sound?
By the way, if you're with us right now, thank you. Feel free to jump in anytime. Your comments are welcome. Your questions. I want to know how you doing out there. What are your challenges you're facing? What are the goals that you have? So any questions, please pop them up. So here we go.
All right. Next question. Another student from Pennsylvania asks why it's taking so long for her horse to understand a simple task. She said, my horse will still not stand still in the horse trailer.
Not standing still in the horse trailer. So it's a fairly simple task, but it's also a highly emotional task for a horse to stand in a tiny little box. A lot of you who are following us right now know that because horses are meant to run wild and free. So standing in a tiny little box is tough. But it sounds like she's been at it for a while. So the best answer I can give, not knowing all your circumstances, is I'd like to talk to you a little bit about something called the emotional release. So if we look at the training cycle one more time, let's see if you can try to catch this in the video here. When we go through this, we send the signal, we add the support, and we release. Sometimes we think at this stage we should turn and cycle back through. We should start over again. It's like, okay, we've done it. We got the result. The horse did respond, so let's do it again. There has to be more than just a release. There has to be a reward, some kind of emotional release. So if I were you, in this particular, in your shoes, I would definitely spend a lot of time near or around the horse trailer. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. In a really pleasant, emotional kind of way. It sounds like not knowing exactly what your circumstances are, but you might do a lot of stuff in and around the horse trailer, but it's always about getting somewhere, going somewhere. So what I would invite you to do is spend a lot of time just letting the horse breathe and think and be really pleasant in that environment.
Yeah.
Well, let me hear. Hi, Chris. Hey, what? Chen, welcome. Thank you. Recently started trotting Lucy on the trails and sometimes starts bucking. Ooh, that's exciting. I got to go back a little bit and read this question from Chen. The questions are coming in. I love it. Hang on a second. After prolonged trot, she's left-brained. Oh, she's bucking on the trail after she's been trotting for a long time. What is going on there? Chen, that's a great question. Is she protesting? Not necessarily. I mean, she could be. Depends on, are you asking her to move forward faster than a trot? If you're going and going and going and then you suddenly ask for something, she's not necessarily protesting, but she may have done what we call going introverted. She's kind of tuned you out. And so when you ask for that response, she's not ready for it. So it'd be better to ask for a different response first. Maybe stop her and then go back into the trot and then go forward. So there's just this sort of check-in, or sometimes we don't even have to stop. We can do what we call a half halt. But there's this check-in process before you ask for something more. If she's doing it randomly, if you're not asking for anything and she starts bucking, then there's something we need to work with. Come and do some coaching with us, because there's some specifics we need to get through. But basically, we want to just check in with our horses all the time before we ask for what we want. So I'll do half halt. I'll do a little sideways maneuver. I'll pick up on the reins. Anything to say, hello, we're about to have a conversation. So I hope that helps, Chen. Let me know. Renee, thank you. Question here from Renee. I've been playing at Liberty with my horse for quite a while, and just recently he started nipping at me. He doesn't actually bite me, but acts like, okay. Can't read the whole thing, so we've got to figure out how to do that. If he's, you've been playing for a while, but now he's getting playful. This is actually a good thing. We just don't want it to get better, Renee. Worse, Renee. When I say it's a good thing, it means that he's starting to interact with you in a pleasant way, in a playful way. We just don't want it to get worse than it is right now. We don't want him to be more aggressive. And I want you to reset your boundaries. If you want to go back, we can repost the very first Go Live that we did. We talked a lot about boundaries. Boundaries just means backing the horse away, getting them out of your space. All really good leaders establish boundaries early on, and then they reestablish boundaries all day long through every ounce of their training. And that happens to us too. We'll be out there with our horses, and things suddenly, these are really well-trained horses, and things suddenly don't go well. We just have to ask, oh, I got to reset the boundaries real quick, and we'll be much more successful. Kimberly, what a fantastic question. Isn't it the release that teaches? Yes and no. The release teaches the horse that you recognize they did something for you. But it's actually the repetition that teaches the horse. It's the cycle that teaches the horse. So the release, if you just release once, there's no guarantee you're going to get a result tomorrow. But if you release and then reward and then repeat the cycle until you no longer need the support, you can operate just off the signal. That's actually what's teaching the horse. It's that cycle of events that's training the brain to go, okay, you don't want me to just move my feet. You're actually engaging with my mind. That's a fantastic question.
It is. So I have a little question that I want to ask Don. So you're going to tell them about your book?
Yes, thank you. I have a book. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to write a book, and it's coming out very soon. And it's about leadership and horses. It goes through the 4 B's, very in depth, and we get to talk about boundaries and bonding, and bravery training, and beginning basic skill training. So the book's going to be coming out very, very soon, and we're going to be posting a lot about it soon. It's full of pictures. It's full of fun. I can't wait to share it with you. I'm dying to share it with you. So it'll come out soon. It'll come out soon. Thank you guys for joining us. What we got here next? We're going to just about to give something away. By the way, if you still have questions, feel free to ask and throw them up there, but we're just about to give something away. And before I do, though, I have a question for you. What do you do for you? For you. This is a rhetorical question. What do you do for you? How do you reward yourself? What do you give yourself for your efforts, for the good things that you do and the good things you accomplish? How do you stay focused? How do you get through tough times? I want to know that because I want to give you something. I want to give you something that's extraordinarily helpful. It's called the Voice of Power. It's a program that my wife and I have put together to help people stay focused, to stay on track, to get past the challenges that they face. It's very personal. It's extremely custom. In other words, there's nothing like it anywhere else in the world. And we want to give it away. It's called the Voice of Power. We're going to give away a free trial to it. A few of you following me now have actually experienced the Voice of Power and how powerful it is. Thank you, Patty, for the wonderful accolades. This is how I'm going to hand it over to Rachel. How are we going to give this away?
We're going to do it different this time. So what I would like, whether you would like it for yourself or for somebody else, could you please send a message to either myself or to Don? And in that message, I want you to say why you need it, why you want it, or why your friend that you want to gift it to needs it or wants it. And you need to have that message into us by Friday morning.
Right, because a lot of people aren't
people
live
don't
with
see
us
this.
there.
Right.
We're going to give everybody a chance who want to watch this over the next day or two to respond to this email. Send us what you...
send us a why, and then we are going to randomly choose someone to give it away to.
So you're going into a lottery. We're going to give away this chance to try the Voice of Power out for free.
And also, please send your questions. We're going to be here next Tuesday, so we want to answer any questions that you have because we're here for you guys.
Questions in an email and questions
email,
in private messages on
private
Facebook.
Message on Facebook. Yeah, what have you.
We're here for you. So just to be clear, send us a private message or an email over the next few days. You have until Friday morning that basically says, I want to try out the Voice of Power for me or for somebody that I love who wants to break through a challenge or wants to set goals and stay accountable.
And this audio that's going to be made for either you or your friend is customized. It'll be one audio, and you'll get sent it every day in your email inbox, and so that it reminds you to listen to it. It keeps coming up, and that way you don't have to remember to go find it or to listen to it, so it really help you. So it's 1 week we're giving away.
It's called the Voice of Power, and it's going to change your life. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll post this video again.
And we hope you'll use the training cycle.
Yeah, use the training cycle. Send us
how it
questions and comments along the way throughout the week. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.